we've been tracking for you this evening. Global venture capital firm QED Investors has more than 25 unicorns in its portfolio. That includes Nubank, Credit Karma, Sophie, and the firm is co-founded by Nigel Morris, who previously co-founded Capital One Financial Services. With $4.5 billion in assets under management, the fintech-focused fund recently co-led an $11 million Series A round in revenue-based financing provider Efficient Labs. To talk about QED's investment mantra and the Indian fintech opportunity, joining me now is Sandeep Patil, the partner and head of Asia at QED Investors. Sandeep, welcome to Startup Street. You're a fintech-focused fund and have 25 unicorns in your portfolio globally, like I mentioned earlier. First, take us through your investment thesis. What makes QED bet big on a startup? What do you look for? And what is the selection criteria?
We come with this very deep belief that financial services is very complicated, and to do it well, you need to have experience in the sector to not only have an edge in terms of identifying the right investments, but also have an edge in terms of advising founders, advising companies for building a better company and delivering better returns. So that's the thesis for financial services, why we focus on financial services. This is the only sector we have focused on in our entire history of last 15, 17 years. What is the selection criteria, you asked? The first is unit economics. Over the last 2-3 years, you've heard a lot about unit economics within the startup circles. But unit economics is something that QED folks have obsessed over for the last 15-20 years. In fact, it was one of the core theses of Capital One as well. The second important criteria is exponential growth, which is companies should have an ability to grow very rapidly. And third is about founder profile and sort of the mix of startup experience and prudence as an important criteria for them.
Let's talk about the India opportunity now. You set up your India office in 2020 and you've already plowed $150 million so far. So tell us, how many Indian startups have you invested in and what is the big India opportunity you see?
Look, I would start by saying that we don't have a geographic allocation of capital. We actually look at every opportunity on its individual merit. We have one global IC and one global pool of capital, and actually one carry pool for all the partners as well. So everyone's incentives are to pick the best ideas globally and fund them, right? Which is why we found some really exciting ideas in India, and we went fairly deep, fairly quickly into the country. We have funded about 8 startups in the country now. The big positions are OneCard, Jupiter, Upswing, Refine, Efficient Capital Labs, and then there are a few smaller positions as well.
All right, thank you for taking us through your portfolio companies. And I believe your investment ticket sizes range from around $5 to $15 million, which will typically be the first check, while the growth funds can go up to $50 million as well. But Sandeep, tell us what subsectors within fintech attract you? Where do you see the next level of innovation and impact coming from?
I think consumer continues to be a very, very big theme for us. We think the India consumer story is just starting to explode. You hear all the statistics about kind of macroeconomic growth and GDP growth and all of that coming in. Trade and export, I said, was the second one. The third big theme we see is embedded finance, which is financial services really becoming a part and parcel of every economic year round.
All right. You know, Sandeep, in late 2022, QED closed an oversubscribed $1.05 billion fund consisting of $550 million fund, and a $500 million growth fund. And after 2022, QED also raised another set of funds, Fund 8, consisting of $925 million, with $650 million in venture and $275 million in growth 2. Who are your investors? Talk to us about the partners on board.
It's a gratitude to LPs and founders for the faith that they have placed in us. It's a testament to what QED is building in terms of our track record and hopefully the value we have been able to add to our founders and our portfolio companies, that we were able to raise the substantial funds, especially in 2023, in probably one of the toughest funding and environments that one has seen in the recent memory. So we are very grateful for that, and we're really excited to have this capital to invest in fintech globally. US will continue to be the large chunk of investment, but India is also very investment destination for us.
All right. You are a global venture capital firm based in Alexandria with $4.5 billion in assets under management. Sandeep, take us through some of the global trends you're seeing in the fintech sector.
So AI will continue to be a big theme. It is a big theme. To my mind, it's a revolution comparable to the internet from 20 years ago. And like internet, I think we are overestimating the impact AI will have in the short term, but massively underestimating the impact it will have in the long term. So it's a trend to watch out for. It's a trend everyone should capitalize on. Again, from
Sure.
global perspective, another big trend I would say is global trade. The reshaping of global trade flows will continue. Manufacturing basis will shift, and that's a massive opportunity for India, but that's a massive opportunity in the global economy also. Embedded finance and verticalization also, I see something geographically across where financial services in
Okay.
particular is becoming more specialist and focused on specific verticals.
Sandeep, thank you for taking us through some of the global trends that you're seeing currently. But speaking on the sidelines of the Global FinTech Fest that is happening today in Mumbai, where do you see the next big opportunity for Indian fintech companies? What will be the next growth driver for them?
Look, I think AI will be a growth driver for Indian fintech companies also. But in India, you have to give credit to the digital public infrastructure that's coming up. UPI is already very big, but account aggregator is coming up, digital currency is coming up, OCEN is coming up, ONDC is coming up. All the, like, we should not, we are spoiled for choices and the level of support we are seeing from digital infrastructure. And that's something to massively capitalize on. In terms of verticals,
Okay.
growth, I would say consumer will continue to be a big theme. Cross-border will continue to be a big theme. Verticalization, embedded finance will continue to be a very, very big theme for India as well.
All right, Sandeep, with that, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation. But many thanks for joining us today on Startup Street and wish you the very best. All right, moving on, the annual FinTech Conference Global FinTech Fest organized by the